Okay. If I talk like this, you can't hear me. ठीक है मुझे ठीक है Good evening and namaskar. And once again, I thank PGI Chandigarh to invite us to do this session. We are especially doing these sessions for the youngsters, the teenagers, the young adolescents, because just before this lockdown started, they all must be busy preparing for their exams. And while they were busy preparing for their exams, suddenly this lockdown comes in. So all the enthusiasm, the anxiety, the tension, which was there, which was a positive stress to perform for their exams, suddenly came to a standstill. And now they are maybe in a sort of a vacuum. One doesn't know when life would get normalized again, when they would be having their exams. So Dr. Akshay Anand suggested that we could have something for the adolescents. Now, the good part about Guruji D.K. Sangar's teachings is that there is something in it for everyone. Although we know that yoga is meant for the individual soul to unite with the universal soul, in practicality, it means nothing to a youngster. So if you tell a teenager, a 19-year-old, that please do yoga, it will help your soul unite with the universal soul, they're going to laugh at you or possibly say, okay, if they respect you, okay, we leave it when we are old. So the fact is that each age group, each stage of life, we do yoga with a different purpose. So for youngsters, the purpose is that they need to get the courage, they need to develop the ability to withstand pressures. They still have to face the world, and therefore it is important for them to start with the practice of yoga, which gives them the ability to face the world. Because as life goes on, there may be times when things are running very smooth, and there may be times when there is failure. And if there is failure, they need to have the ability to cope with it. And let's not expect that life is only going to be a bed of roses and there'll be no falls. So, therefore, we need to develop these youngsters to be able to withstand that and move on, or possibly learn from them. And that learning cannot come at the time when such a thing has happened. So, these intrinsic qualities of the youngsters need to be built up. Secondly, so they need to develop courage, they need to be able to face. Also, at that age, youngsters are more keen on building up their body, their appearances, and we cannot tell them that, oh, that is not important, it is what you are that is important. That is part of growing up, and they need to realize that. So, very often people tell me that youngsters do not prefer yoga, there is not much of compliance when they want to do yoga. They do it because they are forced to do it. Well, it is how it is taught to them. Because the way you would teach a youngster would be very different from the way you would teach an adult. So if you talk about the very old people, their purpose of yoga as a worldly person would be that they have a comfortable life, they remain independent. Then we come to the middle-aged people. For them, yoga is to overcome their aches and pains and remain healthy. So for the youngsters, what is their purpose? It is to develop that confidence, the courage, the adaptability, the tolerance, the confidence that is required. And after all that, which is just a prelude to yoga, one actually makes an entry into the field of yoga, the subject of yoga. Now, how does one introduce yoga to the youngsters? So today what we're going to show you is the variety of asanas that youngsters can do. And we will be I will be having Pooja, who's sitting right behind me. Pooja, you can come to the side. And she will be demonstrating the asanas because if you're doing something, it's better the people in the right age group do it. And once they and she has been practicing for a while. So I don't expect the viewers to do all the asanas that she does today or in the next week. But this is a video and you can refer to it and you can learn. So you can make a beginning, start slowly, and step by step, you will be able to do more. So there are a variety of asanas that the human body can be molded into. They are standing, sitting, twisting, inverted. They are forward bending, backward bending. So there's a variety and the range. And each of these range of asanas gives us access to different parts of the body. We are made up of so many muscles, and not all muscles. So in routine gyms or exercises, people tend to use a certain types of muscles all the time. In yoga, with the variety of asanas, you're able to build, tune, and tone various major and minor muscles of the body. Secondly, when you're doing the different asanas, as I said in my earlier talk, you are able to lead the breath to different places. And each asana, because we will soon find that some of us find bending forward easier, some of us find bending backward easier. And if it is so, we have to develop the other sides, other aspects of our position too. Now, coming specifically to the lockdown. Now, what happens when you don't have to rush to college in the morning? You don't have to rush to any activity, maybe you're running. Then the body and the mind tend to become dull. Not everybody would have so much space in their houses to go running for a walk in their compounds or stuff like that. So the body becomes dull, the mind becomes dull. And if the mind becomes dull, the body slouches. Now, when the body slouches, emotions get depressed. And therefore, there is this whole talk that we should be doing something about the emotional health of people once this lockdown is over. So now we will be starting that how to make the body active, and as the body becomes active, how the mind becomes alert and sharp. And now I will be asking Aarti to conduct this session and Pooja will be demonstrating. So all over to you, Aarti and Pooja.
Hi Pooja, you start with Surya Namaskar. So first you stand straight in Tadasana. Join your palms in front of your chest in Namaskarasana. Urdhvastasana, extend your arms up. Exhale and go into Uttanasana. Bend your legs at the knees. Jump and take your legs back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, the dog pose. From here you go towards Chaturanga Dandasanas. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Uttanasana. Urdhvastasana. Namaskarasana. Tadasana. Just a minute, I think the video is not coming clearly, so we're just adjusting. Okay, thank you. Can you do the cycle again? We'll go a little faster. Yes. Tadasana, Namaskarasana, Urdhvastasana, Uttanasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, Uttanasana, Urdhvastasana, Namaskarasana, Tadasana. Did you remember to breathe? Were you breathing? No. No? So, okay, start breathing. We'll go a little slow. Tadasana, Namaskarasana. Inhale, Urdhvastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhvastasana. Namaskarasana, Tadasana. Now, did you breathe? Yes. So you can keep on changing this, the asanas from one into other. We can just mix match. Now, I'll just give you a very short break. So, be standing in Urdhva Baddanguli Asana, face the front. Interlock your fingers, extend your arms up, and pull yourself up. Urdhva Baddanguli, that is interlocking your fingers and extending your arms up. Now, from Urdhva Baddanguli itself, go into Uttanasana with interlocked fingers. Come up once again. Your break is over. Release. And go into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Ready? So from Adho Mukha Svanasana, we'll be doing a few standing poses. So you can go into Utthita Trikonasana, take your right leg. Okay, that's fine. And go into Utthita Trikonasana. Extend your arms up. Chest facing the front. Parshvottanasana. There it says. So that became Utthita Parshvakonasana. That said Parshvottanasana. But that's fine. Now from Utthita Parshvakonasana, you can go into Parshvottanasana. Adhomukha Svanasana. Parshvottanasana on the other side. Adhomukha Svanasana. Uttanasana. Urdhvastasana. Adhomukha Svanasana. Urdhvasta Dandasana. Urdhvastasana. Face the front. Utkatasana. Balance, balance, balance. Remember to breathe. Uttanasana. Urdhvastasana. Utkatasana. Uttanasana. Urdhvastasana. Uttanasana. Adhomukha Svanasana. Uttanasana. Urdhvastasana. Urdhvasta Dandasana. We'll give you a short break and settle down.
So this is how we make children do. In the beginning, they can go slowly, then they become faster, and then they can increase their speed. Now, when a teacher is giving instructions, these instructions, they can be a variety of permutation and combination of asanas. And when that happens with these different permutations and combinations, the student learns to become very alert. So any kind of sluggishness in the body and mind comes to an end, and they can come up. Naturally, if a child has some kind of a breathing, respiratory issues, then we go slow. And also we would get them, sometimes you change the speed. So sometimes you can say, okay, you're going at the speed of a bullock cart, and suddenly you increase the speed to a train, a bus, a train, or a jet. So gradually, this kind of speed keeps the child very alert, keeps the youngster very alert, so that dullness goes, and the body and the mind both become swift. Now, second thing which is very important for youngsters is the ability to focus. There is always this complaint that, sometimes if they're not interested in the subject, their mind tends to wander. And one blames the mind that the mind wanders. Guruji B.K. Sankar has said that the eyes are the windows to the brain. And to make the brain sharp, focused, one has to utilize the eyes. And now we will show how one can utilize the eyes for a sense of balance.
So you stand in Tadasana, go back.
Go back, so you're in this.
Okay. We'll start with Vrikshasana, which means a tree. So bend your right leg at the knee, place your left hand on your waist. First get your balance, let that knee open out to the side. And now look straight in front in level of your eye. Eyes wide open, broad and widen. Take your arms to the side and raise your arms up. Then from here you can go into Garudasana. Raise the elbows up. This is like an eagle, Garuda. Everything is to do with your eyes. Eyes looking straight in front. And you're standing on one leg, actually learning to balance on one leg now. And release this. You can do Vrikshasana. We won't stay for long on the other side. So the main thing in this is you have to raise your arms up. So along with that, as the trunk lifts up, eyes looking straight to the front. And these two, when you do it simultaneously, will be giving you the right balance. You can place your hands on the waist and just show the entwining of the legs for Garudasana. And then you can entwine your arms. Raise the elbows. You can release Tadasana. Okay? We'll be doing Veerabhadrasana. You know who was Veerabhadra?
A warrior.
So Veerabhadra was a warrior. So all those qualities of a warrior has to come out in this pose. So what is the first quality of a warrior?
Strength, courage,
And Oh, courage, strength, power, focus. Okay, all these are the qualities of a warrior. So bend your legs at the knees, bend your arms at the elbows, a high and a long jump, broad and widen. And now turn your one leg out, the other foot turning in, extend your arms to the sides, chest continues to lift up. So all this, you'll never see a warrior sinking. It's always going to be lifted, high, straight, tall. And now bend your leg at the knee to form a square, or basically like an angle of 90 degrees. And this becomes your Virabhadrasana 2. Again, your eyes turning towards your right hand and look there. Continue to look there, it's okay. Now from here, you'll proceed towards Virabhadrasana 1. Oh, no, don't take your arms down. You can be there, broad and widen. And now turn to face the right side completely. Extend your arms up. Once again, bend your leg at the knee. So Virabhadrasana 1. Is there place for you to go into Virabhadrasana 3 from here? No. Okay, just come back, come into Talasana. Okay, this time when you're going to do the pose, once your leg is already bent, you don't need to straighten it. Okay, so bend your legs at the knees, bend your arms at the elbows, a tall and wide stance. Now turn the leg out and go into Virabhadrasana 2. Since we've already done this, you won't stay for long. And from here itself, you'll be turning completely to go into Virabhadrasana 1. Better. And now extend your trunk forward on the bent thigh and proceed towards Virabhadrasana 3. So this looks like the alphabet T. And the balance and focus, which helps you to balance on this one leg. Land back into Virabhadrasana 1. Face the front in Virabhadrasana 2. Stand up, turn the foot in. Talasana. Join your feet together.
So as you can see, she was doing these asanas by learning to balance on one leg in some of them. Now, despite the changes that can be happening, one tries to maintain the focus while they are doing it. So what it tells us is that while the environment may change, where there may be things which may be distracting, you don't get distracted. And that's very important. We cannot close the doors and windows and tell the child to focus. Despite the distractions, it is important to focus. And these asanas develop that attribute in the practitioner so that they do not get disturbed by what is happening around them. Now there are many asanas, so we have selected a few. Now, one asana that is often and always, I wouldn't say often, always attributed with yoga is Padmasana. So Pooja will be asked to do Padmasana along with various variations.
So you can go into Padmasana, bend your leg at the knee, place it on the groin, and you'll be going into Parvatasana, what you would call as a baby mountain. So once you've settled in Padmasana, you move towards Simhasana. So you'll be kneeling on your knees. Yeah. And the tongue out, you're going to roar like a lion. You can look at it between your eyebrows and tongue long, broad and touching your chin. Can you make it long or should I come and pull it? Okay. Get back into sitting Padmasana and Garbha Pindasana. You can insert your hands in the holes and you can say sorry in case if we've made any mistake. And if not, also you are going to learn from there. Close your ears to everything that's happening outside so you don't get distracted. Then you can release and keep your palms to the sides and you're going to balance in Tolasana. Tola is like your weighing scale, the balancing scale with the two weights. And you're going to balance. This is one of the easiest arm balancings to start with, which I think all the children can do. Now you can come down and release. Release. You want to do some arm balancings? We can continue. Okay. So now you'll start with Bhujya Pidasana. You can stand. And from here, going to Bhujya Pidasana. Bend your legs and release. Insert your arms, place them on the sides, and go up. Bhujya, your arms, pida is pressure on your arms. So Bhujya Pidasana. So you can, here also the eyes play a very important role. So look straight in front. And you can stay there starting off with 10 counts and you can build up to 20, 30, 40 depending on your practice as you're getting it. Now you release. And the next one that you'll be doing will be Bakasana. Baka is a crane. So the bird crane you can also say as a physical crane which is used to lift things up. So this is Bakasana. You can come down. Now this I would not advise you to try on your own because you will, when you're practicing on your own, when you're doing it for the first few times, you'll fall on your face. So keep something in front of you, a bolster or something, so it safeguards your face and then you can attempt again. So always keep something in front of you when you are beginning to learn because there's a tendency for you to fall on your face, safeguard your face. Okay, now you can come down, come up. You show it from the side. You want to show it from the side? Okay, show it from the side. So all these would be coming in Bhujya Tola, that is basically balancing on your arms. Yes, come down. Go to show Ashtavakrasana. You can do it facing the front. You don't need that. With Ashtavakrasana, you won't hurt yourself even if you fall down. Ashtavakra is crooked on 8 sides and there's a story behind it, but which you cannot narrate at the moment. Release. So these are just very few of the hand balancing asanas, which we have shown. There are many more, but time constraints, so we'll just pass it on.
So these balancing asanas help in the focus. Secondly, they will build up a lot of strength in the arms. So for those who are looking for building up strength, you can imagine that how when you're balancing your whole body on these arms, how you use the minor muscles to develop that strength. And now we will be showing inverted asanas. In Guruji's tradition of yoga, we lay a lot of emphasis on the inverted asanas. So we will be starting with Adho Mukha Vrikshasana.
So which in common times you say handstand, which many of you might be doing, but you have to be careful. So place your palms on the floor and take your one leg up and then the other. The most important thing in this is to see that you keep your arms straight because in case you bend your arms at the elbows, you are definitely going to land on your head and you will be responsible for landing on your head. So the main instruction is keep your hands straight, extend your legs up. So you're standing like an upside down tree. Adho Mukha Vrikshasana. You can come down and you can take your mat for Sirsasana. Sirsasana commonly what you call as headstand. So you can begin, interlock your fingers, place the crown of the head on the floor, and you can go up into Sirsasana.
She has been practicing for a while, so therefore she has directly gone into Shirshasana. However, as a beginner, you will need to learn it step by step. The purpose of this session is not just to teach, but to tell you what all is possible. So therefore, we are just demonstrating the different asanas. Remember, none of us have learned this when we started or in our early stages. So it happens step by step, and you can refer to books, videos to learn this. But this is how one can start with Shirshasana. Now we have variations in Shirshasana. Battakon and Shirshasana, drag the soles of the feet together. Upavishtokonasana, spread your legs out. When the toes face the floor, open out. Virasana is Vrikshasana. Bend your legs at the knees, let your feet face the floor. Or there won't be place for you to drop back, but otherwise you could have dropped back. Raise your legs up. And now come down. And come up. So this was Shirshasana. To start with, you can learn it doing it against the wall. Now there are many asanas and many of you may get deterred that, oh, I've never done yoga before and I may not be able to do this. But you can always start. Start with one asana. Try to see how you can do it. Then you can add one more. So even in Shirshasana, you can break it up. How to interlock the fingers. So first you can turn and do it. Show how to interlock it up. So you just interlock the fingers. So once you interlock the fingers, you can place the crown of the head, exactly the crown of the head. Lift the shoulders up, lift the knees up. Don't lift the legs, but learn how to lift the shoulders. This is how you will gradually learn to start with Shirshasana. And then you may lift your legs up. So I wouldn't say start in the beginning, don't lift the legs. In the beginning, you can try against the wall. Now from here, we will be moving to the backward bending asanas. So you can prepare your mat for that. We'll start off with what all of you can do. I'm sure this anyone can do it. So you'll be lying down on your stomach. So what we'll begin with is Dhanurasana. So bend your legs and the knees, hold your ankles. And now raise yourself up in Dhanurasana. Dhanur is a bow. Okay, we'll go a little quicker. Then you can come down. Parshva. Once again, go into Dhanurasana. You won't get the mat, so turn. Yeah, this side. And go into Chatushpadasana. Yeah, raise yourself up. Even if in case you cannot turn this asana, all of you will be able to do it. So Dhanurasana and Chatushpadasana is what all of you can start with. Now you can come down and stand up. Go on your mat again. And you'll be starting with Urdhva Dhanurasana. You'll be lying down on your mat. So lie on your back, bend your arms at the elbows, place it underneath your shoulders. Wait there. You ready? Yes. 1, 2, 3, lift up. So balance on your palms and the feet. And this becomes your upward facing bow. Urdhva Dhanurasana. So what you did Dhanurasana on the prone position, this becomes Urdhva Dhanurasana. From here you can go into Viparita Dandasana. So this position of the head and the arms is like your Sirsasana position, similar to that. And once again, place your palms on the floor. Urdhva Dhanurasana. Come down and come up. As you start to progress with your practice, you will be able to do this pose even from top. So here you can try. Okay, go ahead and do it. This is Urdhva Dhanurasana. There are various ways of doing it. You can start from the floor. You can start from top. You can even do it from Adho Mukha Vrikshasana, but we won't be showing you all that today. You can come up, hook up, or you can come down, whatever. And I'll give you a short break, Ushtrasana. This is something that all of them can do. So you'll be kneeling, toes back. And same way as you had gone in your Urdhva Dhanurasana, you'll be curving from the top of your back. Yeah, this is Ushtrasana, known as a camel pose. Then you can come up. Okay, just one quick combination. So face the front. Vatanasana, which is a combination of your Garudasana and your Virasana. Correct, go ahead. It is more like Padmasana than Padmasana. This represents a horse, Vata and Asana. Now we can come down. Kapotasana. So actually, we could have taken this after Ushtrasana, but then it's okay. That in between which we did. We remember to do this. Kapot is a pigeon. So Kapot Asana, which represents a pigeon. And from the pigeon, when the pigeon goes, whoosh, it goes flat into Supta Virasana. That becomes a short break. Supta Supine, Supta Virasana. So many times if your legs are tired, you can be doing that. I would say it's more like all the heroes and the warriors sleep like this. So you can see the variety of asanas that have been shown. Youngsters generally prefer the backward bending, and it is good because in all these poses, the chest is well opened. On the physiological front, naturally your breathing becomes better, so you can overcome common problems like cold and cough with seasonal changes. But also, it gives them the courage. The emotional center is the region of the heart, and this emotional center is well open, and that is the reason So if anybody is even heading for depression, these kind of asanas help them, prevent them, and overcome them. Now, naturally, a person who is new cannot directly go into Kapotasana, but you can start with Ushtrasana. You can start with the initial Surya Namaskar cycle, whether it's Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So it gradually starts toning yourself. And now we will be ending with, as I said, we need to give ourselves challenge. We don't need to compare ourselves with her, but we need to challenge ourselves. So we can pick up a pose, do all the ones previous to that, build up, and then we can do more and more and more. So there is a lot to learn. There's no end to learning. As Geetaji has said, knowledge has a beginning, but there is no end. However, we'll be ending this session with Mandalasana. So in Mandalasana, as if one is doing parikrama with one's feet. So she'll be demonstrating Mandalasana. Also, it is one of her favorite asanas. So she prefers doing that. So she will go into Mandalasana, get into Shirshasana, Viparit Dandasana, bend the legs, drop the legs down, and then do a parikrama of the head with the legs. And then come back and sit in Virasana. And it's time to end this session. So we will do it by paying our gratitude to Guruji B.K. Sangar, who has had this unique ability to generate interest in yoga for people of all health status, all age groups. So something what we taught last time was for the middle-aged people, but for youngsters, it is totally different, and therefore we'll express our gratitude by reciting the Guru Vandana. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Hari Om. Thank you very much, and I hope you have enjoyed this session, and we'll start the practice of yoga soon. Thank you.